My name is Stanley, and today I want to talk about the command line interface. So, I know a lot of people are aspiring to be programmers right now, and I think that's an excellent time to do it because right now, one of the best times in the history of the world to actually begin programming. And I think it's not something that you can just say, oh, yeah, I want to do websites and then this is going to be applicable. I think this is a skill set that's applicable to any profession that you do because if you're in finance or accounting or if you're in any kind of work that you're sitting in front of a computer all day, this lesson will really impact you and this lesson will really make it easier for you to do what you need to do and get it done quickly. So today my tutorial is going to be focused on the Mac. So if you have a Windows, I'll put a link inside of my YouTube description for you to actually go ahead and do. But today, again, we're going to focus on the Mac. So if you're utilizing the Mac, go ahead and you can follow along. So getting started, let's go ahead and open up our Finder. You can either go ahead and press this little thing, and it's going to go and show you your Spotlight search, or you can press spacebar, command spacebar, and that will give you this as well. That's the way I usually like to do it. So what I want to do is for you to type in terminal. You're going to see this little white box come up, and you're going to wonder what this is. And essentially, this is a very, very powerful tool that you're going to be utilizing today in this lesson. And this tool is something that people were doing since the 1960s. This was how people used to communicate with computers because there was no other way to do it. Until Apple, Microsoft, until they brought about the whole graphic user interface or the GUI that we see nowadays, we only talk to computers through the command line interface. This is how people used to talk to it. So let's go ahead and try a little simple command just to get our confidence up. And we're going to go ahead and say echo hello world. What does it do? You see, Echo actually went ahead and printed out hello world inside of the CLI. It went ahead and printed it out. But that's not that cool, right? How can I do some cool things with this echo command? Well, let me show you. Let's go ahead and try the same command, and you can press the up arrow to actually repeat the past command. So you press the up arrow, and now we're going to do something called a redirection. And we're going to go ahead and redirect the output of hello world into a text file called hello world. And let's see what happens. Press enter, and then you see that like nothing, it didn't say hello world this time around. However, let's go ahead and run the command ls, which stands for list. And this is going to list everything that's currently inside of our directory. Do you guys see that it actually created a file called hello world.txt? That's right, your command just now, with the redirection, you actually went ahead and appended hello world, and then you created a new file called hello world.txt, and that output got redirected into the hello world.txt. And just to confirm that, let's go ahead and run cat hello world.txt, and you can press tab to autocomplete, and you're going to notice that it's going to say hello world. So the contents of that file is actually what you want to output through that echo. Pretty cool, right? So now that we got that out the way, let's go ahead and do something a little bit cooler. Let's go ahead and run cat hello world.txt, and we're going to use a pipe. And we're going to type in the command say. Now this say command is actually pretty cool. It actually allows your Mac to talk. So I don't know if you guys remember Steve Jobs back when the Macintosh first came out. He actually allowed the Mac to talk to people on stage, which is really cool at the time. Let's go ahead and press enter right now and see what happens.
Hello world.
Your computer just talked to you. Pretty cool, right? So those are some of the really cool things that you can do via the command line interface without ever touching any graphical user interface. This allows you to become so much more effective as a programmer that you're going to say, oh my gosh, why didn't I know this sooner? So let's go ahead and we're going to run this quick command rm-rf. And what this stands for is remove, and the flags rf stands for recursive with force. It means that you want to delete this thing, you want to force it to be gone, and you never really want to see it again. And then that's really true because it doesn't even go inside your trash. It literally disappears from your computer for good. So you only want to do it with commands that you're with files that you're sure you want to get rid of. So when you run this is actually known as rimwrap in the programmer world. You're going to hear a lot of people say it. But let's go ahead and remove that hello world.txt so we can clean up our directory. Cool? So the command line interface is actually pretty cool. So the few little examples that we saw earlier, you're seeing that there's a lot of input-output. This is what is known as I/O in the programming world. And this is one of the biggest concepts that you're going to see. And you see it in AngularJS, you see it inside just regular JavaScript, you're going to see it everywhere. And the command line interface, you're going to notice that all these commands, they really follow the Unix philosophy. And what the Unix philosophy is you do one thing and you do that one thing really well. So in order for us to really get good at programming, we want to start following that Unix philosophy, start doing some really cool things. So let's go ahead and run through a quick little exercise. You can press Command K on your Mac to clear your screen. It's actually pretty cool. Let's go ahead and do this. I want to change my directory to my home directory. Now, the change directory command is actually cd. So let's go ahead and type in cd. And the abbreviated version of home is actually a little squiggle. So let's go ahead and say cd squiggle. And you're going to notice that where I am is actually my home. And to prove it, I'm going to type in the command pwd, which stands for present working directory. And you're going to see that I'm inside user/Stanley. This is my home base. So now that I'm here, let's go ahead and just for fun, let's make a new directory with the command makedir, mkdir. This stands for make directory. And what we're going to do is we're going to call it our directory the awesome tutorial. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and change directories into it. So again, we're going to use the cd command, the awesome tutorial. And then now that we're inside of here, let's check if there's any files. Does anyone remember the commands? Yes, it's ls. So we ran the ls command, we made sure that there's nothing inside of this directory. So what I want to do now is I want to make some files. And the command to actually make files is the touch command. So we can say touch and we can list out many different files that we want to create. So you're going to notice I can create not just one, not just two, I can create a ton of files if I wanted to. But we're going to create three. I'm going to say touch Stanley is cool. That went ahead and created three different files. So just to make sure, let's run the list command again just to make sure. You're going to notice that now we have three different files. Cool is Stanley inside of there. You guys see this? Cool. So now that we have that, we can also use the list command with a flag of -l to show the long form description. Now, this shows our permission base. We're going to go into this a little bit more down in the advanced tutorial of the command line. But right now, I just want to point this out to you guys. This is our access. So now that we have all these things, we see that these files do exist inside of this directory. I want to do something really quick, and I'm going to move them out of this directory, and I'm going to move them up one directory. In order to do that, all I need to do is I need to say nv for move. And then in order to select all of these files, we can use the wildcard asterisk to actually capture everything. And then what we can do is we can use this 2 dot command. And what does 2 dots stand for? It's kind of interesting. When you use 1 dot, that stands for current directory. So let's run this command. And if you read this again, we're going to say move everything into this current directory. So we don't expect anything to really move. You see? It says these are identical, you cannot move it, blah, blah, blah. So to check again, right, everything didn't move. However, if you were to use 2 dots, it will go up one directory, And if you use 3 dots, it will actually go up 2 directories. Pretty cool, right? So let's try that just to make sure it's right. So we're going to say mv asterisk wildcard, and we're going to go up 1 directory. Let's go ahead and run list. We see that all the files have been moved out of here. And just to be sure, let's go ahead and cd, and again, use the 2 dots to move 1 directory up. List again. And then you're going to notice that all our files, Stanley is cool. It's been moved out. This is so much more effective than me dragging files around and actually making things move using the GUI. That this is literally the only way I could move around my computer nowadays. I don't count and I don't rely on the graphic user interface at all if I can. I'm mostly just living inside the terminal. So now that we see that this is working, let's go ahead and what I want to do now is I want to remove all of these files I just created so I can clean it up and restore it back to the original state. So again, that command, we can use a remove rm. We're going to use the recursive with force. Again, this stands for rimraf. We're going to go ahead and run rm rf, and we're going to go and remove all the files that we just created. Stanley is cool. And we're going to remove the awesome tutorial directory. And then again, let's run list ls, and we notice that they're all gone. This is perfect. So now, at the end of this tutorial, you have learned how to navigate around your directory structure, and you're going to start noticing that this is really quick once you get the hang of it, once you start practicing. And these are the bare bones, most essential commands that you really use on a daily basis. So remember, I want you to keep practicing this. And again, after this tutorial, make sure you practice this and you master this. And then on our next tutorial, we'll see some other cool stuff. So good luck, and I'll see you until the next one.